The wind was getting stronger as Ben walked toward the old barn. It was almost dark, and he needed to check on the horses one more time before heading home. The Montana sky looked angry, with thick gray clouds rolling in fast. Ben had been working on the Double R Ranch for about 3 years now, and he loved the quiet life here. After his marriage fell apart back in Texas, this place felt like exactly what he needed. Ben was 31 years old and had gotten used to being alone. Most days he would ride out with the cattle, fix fences, or help with whatever needed doing around the ranch. The other cowboys were friendly enough, but Ben kept to himself mostly. He found peace in the simple work and the big open spaces. It helped him forget about all the painful stuff from his past. As he pushed open the heavy barn door, Ben heard something strange. It wasn't the usual sounds of horses moving around or the wind rattling the roof. This was different. It sounded almost like someone crying, but very quietly. Ben stopped walking and listened carefully. There it was again, a soft whimpering sound coming from somewhere up in the hayloft. Ben's heart started beating faster. Maybe it was a herd animal that had crawled in here to hide. He grabbed a flashlight from the wall and slowly climbed the wooden ladder to the loft. The old boards creaked under his boots as he moved carefully between the big bales of hay. The sound was getting louder now, and it definitely wasn't an animal. Behind a stack of hay bales in the far corner, Ben saw something that made him stop breathing for a moment. A small girl was crouched down, trying to make herself as tiny as possible. She looked to be about 12 years old, with long brown hair that was tangled and dirty. Her clothes were torn and way too big for her small frame. She had a little backpack clutched tight against her chest. When the flashlight beam hit her face, the girl looked up at Ben with eyes full of terror. She pressed herself back against the wall like a scared rabbit, and Ben could see she was shaking all over. Her face was dirty with tear streaks running down her cheeks. She looked like she hadn't eaten a good meal in days. Ben quickly lowered the flashlight so it wouldn't shine in her eyes. He crouched down slowly and held up his hands to show he wasn't going to hurt her. His voice came out as gentle as he could make it. "Hey there, little one. It's okay. I'm not going to hurt you." The girl didn't say anything. She just stared at him like she was ready to run if he made any sudden moves. Ben could see she was really scared, the kind of scared that comes from bad things happening to you. It broke his heart to see a child looking so frightened and alone. "My name is Ben," he said softly. "This is my workplace. Are you hurt? Do you need help?" Still nothing from the girl. She just kept watching him with those big, worried eyes. Ben noticed she was shivering, and he realized it was getting really cold in the barn as the storm moved in. He slowly took off his jacket and held it out to her. "You must be freezing up here. This will help keep you warm." The girl looked at the jacket like it might be a trick. After a long moment, she reached out very carefully and took it. She wrapped it around herself, but never stopped watching Ben's face. "How long have you been hiding up here?" Ben asked. The girl's voice was so quiet he almost didn't hear her. 3 days. Ben felt sick thinking about this child being alone and scared in the barn for 3 whole days. "Have you eaten anything?" She nodded toward her backpack. "I found some apples in the trees outside, and there was a water hose by the barn." Ben's heart ached even more. This little girl had been surviving on stolen apples and hose water. He wanted to know what had happened to her, why she was hiding, but he could tell she was too scared to talk much yet. "What's your name, sweetheart?" "Lily," she whispered. "That's a beautiful name," Ben said with a small smile. "Lily, I know you're scared, but you can't stay up here much longer. There's a big storm coming, and it's going to get really cold tonight." Lily's eyes went wide with panic. "Please don't call the police. Please don't make me go back. I'll leave, I promise. I'll find somewhere else to hide." The fear in her voice told Ben everything he needed to know. This wasn't a child who had gotten lost or run away for silly reasons. Something bad had happened to her. Something that made her so terrified of going back that she would rather hide in a cold barn and eat stolen apples. "I'm not going to call anyone right now," Ben said carefully. "But we need to get you somewhere warm and safe. There's a small cabin on the ranch where I live. You could stay there tonight and we can figure out what to do in the morning." Lily shook her head hard. "I can't trust anyone. Bad things happen when I trust people." Ben felt anger rise up in his chest not at Lily, but at whoever had hurt this innocent child so badly that she couldn't even accept help from someone trying to be kind. He took a deep breath and kept his voice calm. I understand why you're scared, Lily, but I promise you, I will not hurt you. All I want to do is make sure you're safe and warm tonight. You don't have to tell me anything you don't want to tell me. You don't have to do anything except let me help you. The wind was howling now, and they could hear the first drops of rain starting to hit the barn roof. Lily looked up at the ceiling, then back at Ben. She was still scared, but he could see she was thinking about it. If I come with you, can I leave if I want to? She asked. Of course, Ben said immediately. You're not a prisoner, Lily. You can leave any time you want. After what felt like forever, Lily slowly stood up. She was even smaller than Ben had thought, probably hadn't been eating well for a long time. She kept his jacket wrapped tight around her and picked up her little backpack. Okay, she said so quietly he almost missed it. Ben led her carefully down the ladder and out of the barn. The rain was starting to come down harder now, and he hurried to get Lily to his small cabin. Once inside, he turned on the lights and the heater. Lily stood by the door like she was ready to run at any second. The cabin was simple but clean and warm. Ben showed Lily to the small couch and brought her a thick blanket. He heated up a can of soup and made her a sandwich, trying not to notice how fast she ate, like someone who hadn't had a real meal in way too long. As Lily ate, Ben sat across from her and tried to figure out what to do. He knew he should probably call social services or the police, but the terror in this child's eyes told him that might not be the right answer, at least not yet. For tonight, he just wanted to make sure she was safe and warm. When Lily finished eating, Ben showed her the small bedroom. You can sleep here tonight. The door locks from the inside if that makes you feel safer. I'll be right out here on the couch. Lily nodded and disappeared into the bedroom. Ben heard the lock click and he didn't blame her one bit. He settled down on the couch and stared at the ceiling, wondering what on earth he had gotten himself into. But when he thought about those scared eyes and that tiny, shivering girl hiding in the hay, he knew he had done the right thing. Outside, the storm raged on, but inside the little cabin, Lily was finally warm and safe. Ben didn't sleep much that night, listening to make sure she was okay and thinking about what the morning would bring. He had no idea that finding this frightened little girl would change his life completely. All he knew was that something inside him had awakened when he saw her hiding in that barn, a protective instinct he didn't even know he had. Whatever had happened to Lily, whatever had made her so scared and desperate that she would hide alone in a barn, Ben was determined to help her. He just had to figure out how. The next morning, Ben woke up to complete silence. For a moment, he panicked, thinking Lily might have run away during the night. He quietly knocked on the bedroom door. Lily, are you okay in there? Yes, came a small voice from inside. Ben felt relief wash over him. Are you hungry? I can make some breakfast. There was a long pause. Maybe. Ben smiled a little. It wasn't much, but it was something. He went to the kitchen and started making pancakes, eggs, and bacon. The smell filled the little cabin, and after about 10 minutes, he heard the bedroom door unlock. Lily peeked out, still wearing his big jacket over her torn clothes. That smells really good, she said shyly. Come sit down. Food's almost ready. Ben watched as Lily ate breakfast. She was still careful, still watching him like she expected something bad to happen, but she wasn't as scared as the night before. When she finished eating, she looked up at him. Thank you for the food. I should go now. Where will you go? Ben asked gently. Lily shrugged. I'll find another place to hide. Ben's heart sank. Lily, you can't just keep hiding. You're just a kid. You need adults to take care of you. Adults hurt me, Lily said simply, like it was just a fact of life. Ben felt that anger rise up again, but he kept it off his face. Not all adults are bad, sweetie. Some of us really do want to help. Lily looked down at her hands. That's what they all say at first. The pain in her voice made Ben want to find whoever had hurt this child and make them pay. But right now he needed to focus on helping Lily feel safe. Can you tell me what happened to you? Ben asked carefully. Lily was quiet for a long time. Then in a voice so small he had to lean forward to hear her, she started talking. I lived with the Martinez family for 6 months. Mrs. Martinez was okay, but she worked a lot. Mr. Martinez he was mean when she wasn't home. and their teenage son Tony was even worse. Ben felt his jaw clench, but he didn't interrupt. Tony said if I told anyone what he did to me, they would send me to an even worse place. He said nobody would believe me anyway because I was just a foster kid that nobody wanted. Ben closed his eyes for a second, feeling sick. When he opened them, Lily was watching his face carefully. "You believe me?" she asked like she was surprised. "Of course I believe you," Ben said firmly. "And what happened to you was not okay." "Not at all." Lily's eyes filled with tears. "I tried to tell my caseworker, but she said Tony was a good kid, and maybe I was just having trouble adjusting. She said foster kids sometimes make up stories when they don't want to stay somewhere." Ben wanted to drive to that caseworker's office and give her a piece of his mind, but he kept his voice calm. "How long were you with that family?" 6 months. Before that, I was with the Johnsons for 8 months, but Mrs. Johnson got sick and couldn't keep me anymore. Before that, I was with 3 other families since I was 7 years old. Nobody ever keeps me for very long. "What happened to your real parents?" Ben asked gently. "My mom died when I was 7. Car accident. I never knew my dad. Mom said he left when I was a baby." Lily wiped her eyes with the sleeve of Ben's jacket. "The social worker said I was lucky because lots of families wanted to help kids like me. But they don't really want me. They just want the money the state gives them." Ben felt his heart breaking into pieces. This little girl had been thrown from home to home with nobody caring enough to really protect her or love her. And when she finally tried to speak up about being hurt, the very people who were supposed to help her didn't believe her. "So 3 nights ago I ran away," Lily continued. "Tony said he was going to do worse things to me when his parents went out of town this weekend. I got scared and just ran. I walked for hours until I found this ranch. The barn seemed like a safe place to hide." Ben reached across the table very slowly and put his hand near hers, not touching, just close. "Lily, I'm so sorry that happened to you. You were very brave to run away and keep yourself safe." "Was I?" she asked, looking surprised. "Tony said I was a coward and a liar." "Tony was wrong about everything," Ben said firmly. "You are brave and strong and smart. You survived on your own for 3 days. That takes courage." For the first time since he'd found her, Lily almost smiled. "Really?" "Really." They sat in comfortable silence for a few minutes. Then Ben made a decision. "Lily, I want to help you. Really help you. Not just for one night. But I need to do this the right way so you'll be safe and protected." Lily's face went back to being scared. "You're going to call them, aren't you?" "You're going to send me back." "I'm going to call someone, but not to send you back to that house. Never back there. I have a sister named Claire who works with kids like you. She's one of the good adults, I promise. She can help us figure out how to keep you safe." Lily shook her head. "She'll just put me in another foster home. And maybe the next one will be even worse." Ben took a deep breath. What if I became your foster parent?" Lily stared at him. "You? But you're just a cowboy. You don't have a family." "That's true, but I have a good job, a place to live, and I care about what happens to you. I don't know much about raising kids, but I'm willing to learn." "Why would you do that for me?" Lily asked, her voice full of wonder. Ben thought about it. "Because every kid deserves to have someone who cares about them. And because, well, maybe I need someone to care about too." Lily was quiet for a long time, thinking, "What if they say you can't keep me?" "Then we'll fight for it," Ben said. "But first I need to learn how to be a proper foster parent. That means taking classes and getting my house checked and proving I can take care of you right. How long does that take?" "I don't know. A few months, maybe. Where would I stay while you do all that?" Ben had been thinking about this all morning. "Well, I was hoping maybe you could stay here with me while we work it all out. If that's what you want." Lily's eyes went wide. "You mean it? I could really stay here?" "If you want to. We'd have to tell the authorities where you are, and they'd probably want to check on you regularly. But I won't let them send you back to that house. I promise." Lily sat very still for a long time. Ben could see her thinking hard, weighing her options. Finally, she nodded. "Okay, I'd like to try staying here." Ben felt relief and happiness and terror all at the same time. He had no idea what he was getting himself into, but he knew it was the right thing to do. "All right then. First thing we need to do is get you some clean clothes and toiletries. Then I'll call my sister Claire and see what steps we need to take." "Ben," Lily said quietly. "Yeah? Thank you for believing me. Nobody ever believed me before." Ben felt tears prick his eyes. "You never have to thank me for that, kiddo. Every child deserves to be believed and protected. That afternoon, Ben drove Lily into town to buy her some clothes and basic supplies. She stayed close to his side the whole time, still nervous around other people, but she picked out a few outfits she liked, and Ben was happy to see her show interest in something. When they got back to the cabin, Ben called his sister Claire in Denver. He explained the situation as carefully as he could. Claire was shocked, but she could hear the determination in her brother's voice. Ben, this is a huge responsibility. Are you sure you know what you're getting into? No, Ben admitted, watching Lily through the window as she sat on the porch steps feeding crackers to a friendly ranch dog. But I know I can't just turn my back on her. She needs someone to fight for her. Okay, Claire said. Let me make some phone calls. There are going to be legal hoops to jump through, but if you're serious about this, we can make it work. That night, as Lily got ready for bed in her new pajamas, she looked up at Ben. Ben, what if I have bad dreams? Then you come wake me up and we'll deal with them together, Ben said simply. Lily smiled for the second time that day. Okay, good night, Ben. Good night, Lily. As Ben settled down on the couch again, he realized his quiet, simple life was over. But looking at that little girl sleeping peacefully in the next room, he knew it was going to be replaced with something much better. The road ahead wouldn't be easy, but they would travel it together. 2 weeks had passed since Ben found Lily in the barn, and things were starting to feel more normal. Lily still jumped at loud noises and had nightmares sometimes, but she was eating better and even laughing occasionally at Ben's terrible jokes. Ben's sister Claire had been working hard on the legal side of things. The good news was that Ben could apply to become an emergency foster parent while taking the required classes. The challenging news was that it would take several months to get everything approved. The system is slow, Claire explained during one of their phone calls, but I've spoken with a caseworker named Ms. Thompson who seems genuinely caring. She's going to visit next week to do an initial assessment. Ben felt nervous about the visit, but Lily was terrified. What if she doesn't like me? Lily asked, pacing around the small cabin. What if she thinks I'm too much trouble? Hey, come here, Ben said, patting the couch beside him. You are not too much trouble. You're a good kid who's been through some really hard times. Ms. Thompson's job is to make sure you're safe and happy, not to judge you. Ben had been doing a lot of research about trauma and foster care. He'd learned that kids like Lily often blame themselves for the bad things that happened to them. He was trying to help her understand that none of it was her fault. The morning of Ms. Thompson's visit, Ben made Lily's favorite breakfast, chocolate chip pancakes. But she was too nervous to eat much. What if she asked me about what Tony did? Lily whispered. Then you tell her the truth just like you told me, Ben said gently. But you don't have to talk about anything that makes you too uncomfortable. I'll be right there with you. When Ms. Thompson arrived, she was a middle-aged African-American woman with kind eyes and a warm smile. She didn't look scary or official like Lily had imagined. She looked like somebody's favorite aunt. Hello, Lily, she said, sitting down across from the couch where Lily was curled up next to Ben. I've heard a lot about you. Mr. Ben here seems pretty fond of you. Lily glanced at Ben, who nodded encouragingly. He's nice to me, Lily said quietly. That's what I like to hear, Ms. Thompson said. Can you tell me how you're feeling? Are you comfortable here? Lily nodded. Ben makes good food, and he doesn't yell at me when I have bad dreams. Ben saw Ms. Thompson's expression soften. She spent about an hour talking with Lily, asking about her daily routine, her feelings, and what she wanted for her future. Lily gradually relaxed as she realized Ms. Thompson was truly listening to her. When Ms. Thompson spoke privately with Ben, she was impressed by what she saw. That child clearly trusts you, she said. And frankly, she looks better than she has in any of her previous placements. But Ben, I have to ask, are you prepared for this long term? Foster care isn't just about providing food and shelter. Lily is going to need therapy, special attention with school, and probably some challenging moments as she continues to heal. I understand, Ben said. I've been reading everything I can find about helping kids who've been through trauma, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes to help her. Ms. Thompson smiled. I believe you are. I'm going to recommend that Lily stay here while you complete your foster care training, but there are some conditions. The conditions included Ben taking parenting classes, Lily starting therapy with a trauma specialist, getting her enrolled in school, and monthly check-ins with Ms. Thompson. Ben agreed to everything immediately. That afternoon, Ben and Lily drove to meet Dr. Patricia Wong. a child psychologist who specialized in helping kids who'd been hurt. Dr. Wong had a cozy office filled with comfortable chairs, art supplies, and games. Therapy isn't scary, Lily, Dr. Wong explained. It's just a safe place where you can talk about your feelings and learn ways to feel better when things get hard. Lily was shy at first, but Dr. Wong was patient and kind. She didn't push Lily to talk about the scary stuff right away. Instead, she had Lily draw pictures and play games that helped her express her emotions. Lily has been carrying some very heavy feelings all by herself, Dr. Wong told Ben after their first session. It's going to take time for her to learn that she doesn't have to carry them alone anymore. The next big challenge was school. Lily had missed so much school because of all her moves that she was behind in several subjects. She was also nervous about being around other kids. What if they ask me where I've been? Lily worried. What if they think I'm stupid because I don't know things they know? Ben talked to the school principal, Mrs. Rodriguez, about Lily's situation. Mrs. Rodriguez was understanding and arranged for Lily to have some extra help catching up. We've worked with foster children before, she assured Ben. We'll make sure Lily gets the support she needs. Lily's first day of school was rough. She came home quiet and sad. Nobody talked to me, she told Ben. And the math was really hard. I felt so stupid. Ben's heart ached for her. Being behind in school doesn't make you stupid, sweetheart. It just means you need a little extra help to catch up. And making friends takes time. What if I never catch up? What if I never fit in anywhere? Ben knelt down in front of her. Lily, look at me. You are smart and brave and kind. You've survived things that would break most adults. School stuff can be learned, and the right friends will come along when they're supposed to. To help Lily catch up with her schoolwork, Ben arranged for her to work with Mrs. Chen, a retired teacher who tutored kids in town. Mrs. Chen was patient and encouraging, and she had a way of making learning fun. Lily is actually very bright, Mrs. Chen told Ben after a few sessions. She just needs to build her confidence and fill in some gaps. Give her a few months and she'll be right where she needs to be. As the weeks went by, Ben started to see changes in Lily. The nightmares became less frequent. She smiled more often. She started asking questions about everything: the ranch, the animals, how things worked. Her curiosity was coming back to life. One evening, as they were doing homework at the kitchen table, Lily looked up at Ben. Can I ask you something? Of course. Why didn't you ever have kids of your own? Ben thought about how to answer that. Well, I was married before, but it didn't work out. We talked about having kids, but the timing never seemed right. And then after the divorce, I kind of figured that ship had sailed. Do you wish you had kids? Ben looked at Lily, bent over her math homework, her tongue sticking out slightly as she concentrated. I do now, he said softly. Lily looked up and smiled. I'm glad I found your barn. Me too, kiddo. Me too, not everything was easy. Lily still had days when she was sad or scared or angry about everything that had happened to her. She still flinched sometimes when people moved too quickly around her. And she still had trouble trusting new adults, but she was healing. She was laughing. She was learning. And she was starting to believe that maybe, just maybe, she had found a place where she could stay. Ben was learning too. He learned that raising a child meant worrying about someone else every minute of the day. It meant celebrating small victories like Lily making a friend at school or getting a good grade on a test. It meant staying up all night when she had a fever and feeling proud when she stood up to a kid who was picking on someone smaller. One day, Lily came home from school especially excited. Ben, guess what? Mrs. Rodriguez asked me to help tutor some of the younger kids in reading because I'm getting so good at it. Ben felt his chest swell with pride. That's amazing, Lily. I'm so proud of you. Mrs. Chen says I might even be able to skip ahead a grade if I keep working hard. What do you think about that? Ben asked. Lily thought for a moment. I think I'd like to try. For the first time in my life, I feel smart. That night, as Ben tucked Lily into her bed, she looked up at him with serious eyes. Ben, do you think my mom would be proud of me? Ben felt tears prick his eyes. I think your mom would be incredibly proud of the strong, smart, caring young lady you're becoming. Do you think she would like you? I hope so, Ben said. I think she would be grateful that someone loves her little girl as much as I do. Lily's eyes went wide. You love me? Ben realized he'd never actually said the words out loud before. Of course I love you, Lily. You're the best thing that's ever happened to me. Lily threw her arms around his neck. I love you too, Ben. You're the first grown-up who ever made me feel safe. As Ben turned off the lights and headed to his own room, he marveled at how much his life had changed. 6 months ago, he'd been a lonely man going through the motions of living. Now he had a daughter who needed him, who loved him, who made every day worth living. The legal process was still ongoing, and there would be more challenges ahead. But Ben was no longer worried about whether he could handle being a father. He was already living it every single day, and it was the most important job he'd ever had. Everything was going well until it wasn't. Ben had been Lily's emergency foster parent for 4 months, and she was thriving. Her grades were improving. She had made 2 good friends at school, and her nightmares had become rare. Ben had completed most of his foster parent training and was feeling confident about their future together. Then came the phone call that changed everything. "Ben, we have a problem," his sister Claire said, her voice tight with worry. "Lily's old caseworker, the one who didn't believe her about Tony, has been reassigned to her case. Ms. Thompson got transferred to another district." Ben felt his stomach drop. "What does that mean for us?" "It means Mrs. Patterson is coming to evaluate Lily's placement next week. And Ben, she's not happy that Lily has been placed with an unmarried man with no previous parenting experience." "But Lily is doing great here," Ben protested. "Anyone can see that. I know that, and you know that. But Mrs. Patterson has old-fashioned ideas about what makes a suitable home for a young girl." Ben spent the week preparing for Mrs. Patterson's visit. He cleaned the house top to bottom, organized all of Lily's school reports and medical records, and made sure everything was perfect. But he couldn't shake the feeling that it wouldn't matter what he did. Mrs. Patterson arrived on a rainy Thursday morning. She was a stern-looking woman in her 50s with graying hair pulled back in a tight bun and a permanent frown on her face. She looked around Ben's cabin like she was inspecting a crime scene. "Mr. Walker, I have to say I'm concerned about this arrangement," she said before she'd even sat down. "A single man raising a 12-year-old girl is highly irregular." "Lily is happy here," Ben said, trying to keep his voice calm. "She's doing well in school, she's in therapy, and she's healing from her trauma." "So you say," Mrs. Patterson replied coolly. "But I've read this child's file. She has a history of making up stories and being difficult to place. Perhaps she's simply learned to tell you what you want to hear." Ben felt anger boil up inside him. "Are you seriously suggesting that a child made up being abused?" "I'm suggesting that some children exaggerate situations when they don't want to remain in a placement," Mrs. Patterson said. "The Martinez family has an excellent reputation. Mr. Martinez is a deacon at his church, and their son Tony is an honor student. And yet Lily was so terrified of going back there that she lived in a barn for 3 days rather than return," Ben said through gritted teeth. Mrs. Patterson ignored that comment and called for Lily. When Lily came into the living room, Ben could see her tense up immediately. She recognized the type, the adult who had already made up her mind and wasn't really interested in listening. "Hello, Lily," Mrs. Patterson said in a fake sweet voice. "How are you doing here with Mr. Walker?" "I'm good," Lily said quietly, staying close to Ben's side. "Are you sure? You can tell me the truth. Has Mr. Walker ever made you uncomfortable in any way?" Lily's eyes went wide with shock and hurt. "Ben would never hurt me. He takes care of me." "I see," Mrs. Patterson said, making notes. "And you don't miss having a mother figure in your life? Don't you think you'd be happier in a home with both a mother and a father?" Lily looked confused and upset. "I don't want to go to another home. I want to stay with Ben." Mrs. Patterson's expression made it clear that Lily's wants didn't matter much to her. She spent another hour asking pointed questions and taking notes, clearly looking for problems rather than recognizing the positive changes in Lily's life. After Mrs. Patterson left, Lily was quiet and worried. "She doesn't like me living here, does she?" Lily asked. Ben sat down beside her and pulled her into a hug. "Some adults have different ideas about what families should look like, but that doesn't mean she's right. She wants to move me again, doesn't she?" Ben's heart broke at the fear in Lily's voice. "I won't let that happen without a fight, sweetheart. I promise you that." 3 days later, Claire called with the news Ben had been dreading. "Mrs. Patterson is recommending that Lily be moved to a traditional 2-parent home," Claire said. "She's found a family in Billings, the Hendersons. They have experience with foster children. What about what Lily wants? What about how well she's doing here?" "I know, Ben, I know. But Mrs. Patterson has a lot of influence, and she's convinced that Lily would be better off with a complete family unit, as she put it. Ben felt like the world was crashing down around him. When? She wants to move Lily next Friday. That's only 4 days away. I'm working on an appeal, Ben, but these things take time. When Ben told Lily what was happening, her reaction was worse than he'd feared. She didn't cry or yell. She just went completely silent and withdrew into herself like she had that first night in the barn. Lily, talk to me, Ben pleaded. It doesn't matter what I say, Lily whispered. It never matters. Adults just do whatever they want to do. That night, Lily had her first nightmare in weeks. She woke up screaming and couldn't stop shaking. Ben held her until she calmed down, feeling helpless and furious. The next day at school, Lily's teacher, Mrs. Garcia, noticed the change in her immediately. Lily seems very distressed today, she told Ben when he picked her up. She didn't participate in class at all, and she looked like she was about to cry all day. Ben explained the situation to Mrs. Garcia, who was appalled. That child has made more progress in 4 months than most kids make in years, she said. Moving her now would be devastating. Can you put that in writing? Ben asked desperately. Absolutely. And I'll talk to the principal too. Mrs. Rodriguez has been impressed with Lily's turnaround. Word spread quickly through their small community. Dr. Wong, Lily's therapist, wrote a strong letter opposing the move. Mrs. Chen, her tutor, did the same. Even some of the other parents at school, who had seen how much happier Lily had become, offered to write letters of support. The ranch owner, Mrs. Harrison, was especially upset when she heard the news. That little girl has brought sunshine to this whole place, she told Ben. The way she helps with the animals, the way she lights up when she talks about school, anyone can see she's exactly where she belongs, Mrs. Harrison surprised Ben by hiring a lawyer, a sharp young woman named Jessica Martinez, who specialized in family law. This is clearly a case of bureaucratic bias overriding a child's best interests, Jessica told Ben. We can fight this, but we need to move fast. They filed for an emergency injunction to prevent Lily's removal while they prepared their case. The hearing was scheduled for the day before Lily was supposed to be moved. The night before the hearing, Ben couldn't sleep. He found Lily sitting by her bedroom window staring out at the stars. Can't sleep either, he asked, sitting beside her. I keep thinking about all the other times I thought I was safe, Lily said quietly. I thought maybe this time was different, but it never is. Ben felt tears burn his eyes. Lily, no matter what happens tomorrow, I want you to know something. These have been the best 4 months of my life. You didn't just find a home with me, you gave me a home too. Lily leaned against him. What if they make me go anyway? Then I'll keep fighting until I can bring you back home where you belong. The courthouse was packed the next morning. Ben was amazed to see how many people had come to support them. Mrs. Garcia was there, along with Mrs. Rodriguez. Dr. Wong had driven up from Billings. Mrs. Chen sat in the front row, giving Lily an encouraging smile. Even some of Ben's fellow ranch workers had taken the day off to be there. Mrs. Patterson testified first, explaining her concerns about the irregular placement and her belief that Lily would be better served in a traditional home. Then Jessica Martinez called her witnesses. One by one, they testified about the remarkable changes they'd seen in Lily since she'd been living with Ben. Dr. Wong's testimony was particularly powerful. In 20 years of treating traumatized children, I have rarely seen such dramatic healing, she said. Lily has gone from a child who couldn't trust anyone to a child who is thriving academically, socially, and emotionally. Removing her from this environment would be psychologically devastating and could undo months of progress. When it was Lily's turn to speak, Ben's heart pounded. The judge, a kind-looking woman named Judge Martinez, spoke gently to her. Lily, I understand this is scary, but I need to hear from you. Where do you want to live? Lily's voice was small but clear. I want to stay with Ben. He's the first grown-up who ever made me feel like I mattered. He helps me with my homework, and he doesn't get mad when I have bad dreams. He makes me feel safe. Has Mr. Walker ever done anything to make you uncomfortable or scared? Never, Lily said firmly. Ben would never hurt me. He protects me. Judge Martinez asked a few more questions, then called for a recess while she considered the testimony. The waiting was agony. Ben held Lily's hand as they sat in the hallway, surrounded by their supporters. After what felt like hours, they were called back into the courtroom. "This has been a difficult case," Judge Martinez began. "The law requires me to consider what is in the best interests of the child. While I understand Mrs. Patterson's concerns about non-traditional placements, I cannot ignore the overwhelming evidence that Lily is thriving in Mr. Walker's care." Ben felt his heart stop. Furthermore, the testimony from Lily's teachers, therapist, and other caregivers makes it clear that she has made remarkable progress. "I am granting the injunction. Lily will remain with Mr. 6 months after the court victory, life had settled into a wonderful rhythm. Lily was now 13 and had grown 3 inches taller. Her hair was shiny and healthy. Her cheeks were full and rosy, and most importantly, her eyes sparkled with happiness instead of fear. Ben had officially completed all his foster parent training and requirements. The adoption paperwork was moving through the system, though it was taking longer than they'd hoped. But that didn't worry them anymore. They both knew they were already a real family no matter what the papers said. "Ben, wake up," Lily called from the kitchen one Saturday morning. "I made pancakes." Ben stumbled out of his bedroom to find Lily standing proudly beside a stack of slightly lopsided but delicious-smelling pancakes. She was wearing an apron that said "World's Best Chef," a gift from Mrs. Chen. "These look amazing," Ben said, giving her a hug. "When did you learn to make pancakes without burning them?" "Mrs. Chen taught me last week," Lily said with a grin. "She said every kid should know how to cook something special for the people they love." As they ate breakfast, Lily chattered about her plans for the day. She was going to help Mrs. Harrison with the new foal that had been born earlier that week, then meet her best friend Katie for a movie in town. "And tomorrow is the school science fair," she reminded Ben. "My project on horse behavior is going to win first place. I just know it." Ben smiled at her confidence. The scared, withdrawn little girl who had hidden in the barn was completely gone, replaced by this bright, enthusiastic teenager who approached life with curiosity and joy. After breakfast, they walked out to the stables together. Lily had developed a special bond with the horses, and they seemed to sense her gentle nature. She could calm even the most skittish animals just by talking to them in her soft, patient voice. "Look, Ben," she called, pointing to the new foal who was taking his first wobbly steps. "He's trying to run already." Ben watched as Lily carefully approached the young horse, speaking to him in soothing tones. The foal's mother, usually protective of strangers, seemed completely comfortable with Lily's presence. "You have a real gift with animals," Ben told her. "Have you thought any more about what you want to do when you grow up?" Lily's eyes lit up. "I want to be a veterinarian." "Dr. Peterson said if I keep getting good grades, I could probably get into the pre-vet program at the state university." Ben felt his chest swell with pride. 2 years ago, Lily could barely read at her grade level. Now she was talking about college and career goals with excitement and confidence. That afternoon, while Lily was at the movies with Katie, Ben got a phone call that made his heart race. "Ben, it's Jessica Martinez," the lawyer said. "I have wonderful news. The adoption has been approved. The final hearing is scheduled for next Friday." Ben had to sit down. After all this time, all the paperwork and waiting and legal battles, it was finally going to be official. "Does this mean what I think it means?" Ben asked. "It means that next Friday Lily will legally be your daughter. Congratulations, Ben." When Lily came home that evening, full of stories about the movie and her day with Katie, Ben was bursting to tell her the news. But he wanted to do it right. "Lily, can you sit down for a minute? I have something important to tell you." Lily's face went serious, and Ben realized she was probably remembering all the times in her past when important talks meant bad news. "It's good news, sweetheart," he said quickly. "The best news." He took her hands in his and looked into her eyes. "The adoption has been approved. Next Friday, you're going to officially become Lily Walker, my legal daughter." Lily stared at him for a moment like she couldn't believe what she was hearing. Then her face broke into the biggest smile Ben had ever seen. "Really? Really truly?" "Really truly," Ben confirmed. Lily launched herself into his arms, and they both started crying happy tears. "I'm going to have a real family," she sobbed into his shoulder. "A real dad who chose me." "You already have a real family," Ben said, holding her tight. "This just makes it official." The week leading up to the adoption hearing was filled with excitement. Lily could barely concentrate on her schoolwork, and Ben found himself grinning at random moments throughout the day. They planned a small celebration for after the hearing. Mrs. Harrison had offered to host it at the ranch, and Claire was flying in from Denver to be there. Dr. Wong, Mrs. Chen, Mrs. Garcia, and several other friends from their community had also asked to attend. The night before the hearing, Ben found Lily sitting at the kitchen table, carefully writing something in a notebook. "What are you working on?" he asked. "I'm writing a letter to my mom," Lily said softly. "I want to tell her about you and about how happy I am now." Ben felt his throat tighten with emotion. "That's a beautiful idea." "What are you telling her?" "I'm telling her that I found the dad she always wanted me to have," Lily said. "Someone who loves me no matter what, who believes in me and who makes me feel safe every single day." The adoption hearing was simple and joyful. Judge Martinez, who had presided over their custody battle, smiled warmly as she made it official. "By the power vested in me by the state of Montana, I hereby grant the petition for adoption. Lily Marie Walker, welcome to your forever family." Ben and Lily hugged as their friends and chosen family cheered from the gallery. When they broke apart, both of them were crying again. "How does it feel to be Lily Walker?" Ben asked. "It feels like coming home," she said. The celebration at the ranch was perfect. Mrs. Harrison had decorated the barn with streamers and balloons. There was a cake shaped like a horse, Lily's request, and everyone shared stories about watching Lily and Ben become a family. Claire pulled Ben aside during the party. "You know, when you first called me about a scared little girl hiding in a barn, I was worried you were getting in over your head," she said. "But looking at both of you now, I've never seen you happier, Ben." "She saved me just as much as I saved her," Ben said, watching Lily show Katie's little brother how to safely pet one of the gentle horses. Dr. Wong also approached Ben during the celebration. "I have to tell you, Ben, Lily's transformation has been remarkable. When I first met her, she showed classic signs of complex trauma, hypervigilance, difficulty trusting adults, nightmares, academic struggles. Now look at her." They both turned to watch Lily, who was laughing with her friends and confidently explaining horse behavior to anyone who would listen. "She's not just surviving anymore," Dr. Wong continued. "She's thriving, and that's because she found exactly what every child needs, an adult who loves her unconditionally and believes in her completely." As the sun began to set, the party wound down and people started heading home. Lily helped clean up, chattering excitedly about her plans for summer vacation. "Can we go camping in Yellowstone like you promised?" she asked. "And can Katie come visit for a week? And do you think Mrs. Chen would teach me how to make that apple pie she's always talking about?" "Slow down there, kiddo," Ben laughed. "We have all summer to do everything." That night, as Ben tucked Lily into bed, she looked up at him with serious eyes. "Ben, Dad, I still can't believe I get to call you that now." "You can call me whatever feels right to you," Ben said gently. "Dad feels right," she said with a smile. "Dad, do you think other kids in foster care will find families like ours?" "I hope so," Ben said. "But you know what? Maybe we can help with that." "What do you mean?" Ben had been thinking about this for a while. "Well, we know what it's like to be alone and scared. Maybe we could volunteer to help other foster kids or support other adults who want to adopt." Lily's eyes lit up. "Could we really do that?" "We could look into it. What do you think?" "I think that would be amazing," Lily said. "Everyone deserves to feel as loved as I do." As Ben turned off the lights and headed to his own room, he reflected on the incredible journey that had brought them to this point. 2 years ago, he had been a lonely cowboy going through the motions of life. Finding Lily hadn't just given him a daughter. It had given him purpose, joy, and a reason to be the best version of himself. And Lily? She had gone from a terrified child who trusted no one to a confident teenager who was already thinking about how to help others. She was going to do amazing things with her life, Ben was sure of it. Their story had started with fear and desperation in a cold barn, but it had become something beautiful, a testament to the power of love, patience, and the courage to fight for what's right. As Ben drifted off to sleep, he could hear Lily humming softly in the next room. She often did that now when she was happy and content. It was one of his favorite sounds in the world. Outside, the Montana wind whistled through the trees, but inside their home, everything was warm and safe and exactly as it should be. Ben Walker and Lily Walker, father and daughter, family by choice, and living proof that sometimes the most unlikely beginnings can lead to the most beautiful endings. Their real life together was just beginning.